We are out at one of the most beautiful golf courses in the area, the Waterlefe Golf and River Club in Manatee County. And we are about to talk with the top law enforcement official in the county. Let's get personal with Sheriff Brad Steube.
I was born in Cincinnati, and my dad was in the printing business, and we moved to Bradenton in 1962 when I was 7 years old.
So you were in elementary school when you moved here?
Started at Manatee Elementary, then my parents moved. The first house was down near the hospital, Manatee Memorial, and then we moved to Bayshore Gardens, and I grew up in Bayshore Gardens. Finished at Bayshore Elementary, Bayshore Junior High School, graduated from Manatee High School, and then graduated from Manatee Community College.
And when Brad Steube runs into people who knew him as a teenager, he usually gets the same response.
I wasn't the best thing in the world as I was growing up, you know, and especially in high school. And I had a few people say to me, "What are you doing now?" "Well, I'm in law enforcement." They look at me and go, "Really?" And I say, "Yeah." And I think that helped me because, I mean, I did a lot of things that teenagers do. So when I was, you know, dealing with the public as a law enforcement officer, I take those things into consideration. Try to just mentor people instead of yelling at people.
Manatee County's top cop began his career at the sheriff's office in February of 1978 and is the only person at the agency who has ever worked their way up through the ranks from deputy to sheriff. Nowadays, it's difficult to find him with any spare time on his hands, but when he does, you'll usually find him here with the love of his life.
Yeah, look at that. It must be that new driver.
Must be.
We have fun, and we get to spend 4 hours with each other.
Who's better?
Well, I'm only better than she is by just a couple shots.
Okay.
Just a couple shots. We actually met at our church. Her dad was the Methodist minister at Trinity United Methodist Church. Okay. And the funny thing is that I went to the late service because I was always out late on Saturday night and couldn't get up early enough to go in, and she went to the early service. And her mother would greet everybody as you left the service, and I guess she went home one day and told Debbie, "You got to meet this guy."
Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
I saw her one day while I was working construction. I was going to another job site, and she was headed to the parking lot of MJC, going to college. And I followed her in, and I asked her out, and kind of the rest is history.
Aw, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Brad and Debbie Steube just celebrated their 36th wedding anniversary.
Our anniversary, or when I asked her out, was at the Red Lobster, but we don't kind of do that anymore. We go out to the Columbia restaurant out on the Circle.
You've moved up from
yeah, with the sangria.
Right. Red or white?
Oh, red.
Okay. They started golfing together about 5 years ago, and she always drives the cart.
We try to go every Sunday after church. But unfortunately, there are some things that just don't get accomplished because of other responsibilities that I have on Saturdays because of what I do.
Are you good?
No.
A brick and block mason right out of school, Steube decided to change careers after the Depression in the mid-1970s.
One day after working construction with a pair of shorts on and my long hair, I walked into the highway patrol station and asked for an application.
How long was your hair?
It was pretty long. I did have hair, yeah. In fact, the sergeant that was working the front desk, back then FHP had a height requirement.
Really?
So the guy working the front desk yells to somebody in the back, he says, "Lieutenant, you have to come see this." And the lieutenant yells, "Well, is he tall enough?" And the sergeant says, "Yeah, he's tall enough, but you have to come see this," because of my long hair. When
no one would sponsor him for the local police academy, he camped out in Bradenton Police Chief Clyde Gill's office until he agreed.
I didn't go with FHP.
Okay.
And I didn't go with the Bradenton Police Department. Oh. At the academy, one of the instructors was the chief of police from Longboat Key, Wayne McCammon. And I don't know if I asked good questions or interesting questions, but he took a liking to me, and he actually offered me a job before the academy was finished.
Wow.
Now, I always wanted to be at the sheriff's office, but again, in those days, you had to know someone or have a relative in the business, and I didn't. So I spent 2 years and 2 months on Longboat Key.
Okay.
And there was a new sheriff that came in after Weisenfeld. It was Tom Burton.
Wow.
Tom Burton had a test, kind of like a civil service exam, and I took that test with 300 other people. As a result of that, there were 2 top 10 lists. One was a political list that helped Burton get in the office, and obviously I wasn't on that list. So I was on the second list, and I got hired in the second batch of 10.
A full career later, including time on patrol, in narcotics, and rising up through the ranks, Brad and his wife also raised a family, a growing family, along the way. They have 2 boys, Greg and Grant. Greg is an attorney who finished law school early to enlist in the Army. He
made it through that, did a tour in Iraq, came home, ran for the State House of Representatives, and was fortunate enough to be elected there, and he's in his first term, running for re-election at the same time that I am, which is kind of funny.
Grant is a deputy at the sheriff's office.
Unfortunate part about it for Grant is because I am the sheriff, he cannot be promoted.
Yeah.
So even when he's been eligible to be promoted, he can't even take the sergeant's exam. So I'm sure he'll be glad when Dad's gone so he can start to progress in his career. They're both married. Greg has Jen, and he has a son that's almost 2. Aww. And Grant is married to Julia, and they are expecting our first baby girl.
Wow. Yeah. When is she due?
September.
So now I have 3 really easy questions. What's your favorite color?
I'm not sure that I really have a favorite color, but as I've gotten older, I like to wear bright colors. And although I didn't dress bright today, is because my wife Debbie had on a bright color, and I didn't have a bright color to match that color.
Okay.
But no, I kind of like to wear bright colors now.
Okay.
Nothing really in particular.
What is your pet peeve?
My pet peeve. I don't like people that lie. You know, you need to be able to stand up for what you believe is correct. If you make a mistake, you need to be able to stand up and say, I've made this mistake. And then let's go forward from there. Yeah, I have no patience for that.
And what inspires you?
What inspires me? Oh, these are tough questions, Candace. You said they were fun questions.
They are fun.
My family inspires me.